Boxing Voice.
Lastly, you advocate for a guy that might be, skill-wise, pound for pound, the best fighter in the world. His name is Guillermo Rigondeaux. But your network chooses not to televise him. How do you feel about that? And how do you feel that every time you go in the fight game, Guillermo Rigondeaux's name comes up, but we don't see him on your air?
I wish we saw Rigondeaux more. I would say this. People who hear guys like me talking about Rigondeaux and they don't appreciate him, the attitude is that guys like me are being snobs. We're being elitist somehow because we like Rigondeaux. In fact, the people who don't like him are being the snobs. I'm saying I love the blood and guts guys too. And I love the highly skilled pressure fighters and knockout artists like Golovkin too. But I also love, I'm actually being more inclusive. I have a broader interpretation of what makes great boxing. I also love the most highly skilled technicians, even if they're not scoring knockouts. And it does not come more highly skilled than Guillermo Rigondeaux. And so I'm an enormous fan of his. And anytime he fights, it's must-see TV for me. And I wish more people felt that way. But I suspect that many more people actually feel that way than his detractors care to admit.
You think Rigondeaux-Lomachenko is the fight?
Of course that's the... Listen, those two guys, and Lomachenko hasn't done enough to prove it in the professional ranks yet, but those two guys are the most otherworldly talents, 126 and below. Those are the two guys. In fact, if you want to say what's the best skills matchup in boxing, period, I would say Lomachenko and Rigondeaux. And that's why you have 4 gold medals represented there. And just if you look at the amateur careers, something like 700 fights with maybe a half a dozen losses. I mean, those two guys are ridiculous.
We had an epic conversation the first time around, and it ventured around Rios Alvarado 1. Rios Alvarado 3, Denver, January 24th. Why should the boxing fan care?
Did you see Rios Alvarado 1 and 2?
I mean, I did, but a lot of people are saying, these guys are past their prime. Why do we really need to see this? These guys have lost important matches. Why do we need to see a third fight?
All right. Hey, all I'll say is if you don't want to see it, don't watch it, suckers. I'll be watching. If you don't want to see, you know, a great action fight where it's difficult to predict the winner, then this is not the fight for you. But if you love great action fights where you don't know the outcome, where either guy can hurt and end the fight really at any time after the first couple rounds, you know, that's this kind of fight. If that's not for you, it's not for you. I can't help you. You can lead a horse to water. That's all you can do.
Where do you have it? BoxingVoice.com with HBO's own Max Kellerman.
The Boxing Voice.